none of us are trapped. We're in America. We're business people. Most of us are educated, high school, college, something. We're not trapped. We get choices and we get to come out of those traps. But if you probably felt at a period in time where you were trapped, didn't you not, Ian? Because you're trapped by the paycheck or the security or all these other things.
It was stock. It was stock options. It was equity in the company, and
Golden
stock
handcuffs.
options don't pay until certain dates. And so you feel like you have to stay until January 1st of the next year to get your big paycheck, and they never end. They just keep giving you more so that you feel like you have to stay. So yes.
Working in a diamond mine in Sierra Leone is trapped. Working at a corporation here in America isn't trapped. It's just, you got to pick a smart exit, not just bust through a wall and handicap yourself completely. But
that's right.
Having these people that have moved and given up their lives and speak with an accent because they didn't grow up here and they weren't born here, we're not trapped. That's the first thing you have to realize. The second thing is this. Anyone who's ever done anything of magnitude or note, Jeff Bezos comes to mind. Steve Jobs comes to mind. At periods in their life, people thought they were nuts. I had a very cushy job. My job, I quit a decade before you. So I wasn't as high up the ladder as you were. People thought I was absolutely out of my mind. Out of my mind. And I would just be kind of curt. I wouldn't give a lot of explanation because I didn't want the negative talk to bring me down. And I didn't want to hear it. But I remember like the first deal I made $100,000 on, all of a sudden everyone was like, ooh, I want to do what Frankie's doing. But for 5 or 6 years, I had to go through all the crap and push it aside. And that's what you were able to do. You were able to realize, I'm not trapped. I want to get out. I'm really not happy if I look at the core of this. And then you got real specific in what you wanted. And if you do that, so it's kind of crazy to quit that job, but then getting real specific, you also neutralize almost the way you do when you self-handicap. How many people understand commercial real estate in the Southeast? A very small number. It's the same number of people who aren't going to be able to say, hey, when you're retired, they don't know how to say anything to that. So what you've done is self-handicapping is controlling the narrative. It doesn't work well in your head. But then when you get confident, you know what you're going to do, you control the narrative in a very different way. And that was kind of your arc.
Yeah. And I'll add something to that. So by being very specific about the type of properties that I wanted to do, it locked me down on what tasks I was doing each day. It really honed my focus. And then once I acquired one, then I started telling people the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to bring investors in. And I don't know if you felt this, Frank, but once you start talking to people about I'm going to raise money, what's fascinating about that is when I started telling people that, then people would say, they'd either say, I'm interested. So you tell someone like, well, at some point I'm going to bring some investors in because I'm going to run out of money and won't be able to do all these myself. So they either say, I'm interested, or they would say, you should call so-and-so. They're looking to invest and they would probably love what you're up to. And just by me, because for a while I said, I don't want investors. I just want to do these myself. I want to just be relaxed with my family. And that was fine. But once I said, I'm going to raise money, all of a sudden contacts started showing up, right? And I started getting opportunities. And it was 3 months after my first property that I syndicated the second one, where half of the $3.5 million property were private investors that I raised money. And I'd never done that before.